for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Sly sitting in for JJ next couple days here as JJ enjoys some time off. Is it time off when you have to
work? I was just talking to my wife about that.
He's not working.
Hey, man, you're with family. You're working, bro.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah, no. I try to explain to people.
Yeah, you are working on your vacation.
7 kids going to Florida. Like, I wound down from that trip by coming to work after. You know what I mean? Like, I recovered.
You're so happy to get back in studio.
I recovered by getting to work after the vacation. So if I can complain for just a minute, but JJ's having some nice time off, we think. Our show brought to you by G2G Bars, all natural ingredients and no preservatives. Make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Give it a shot today. And let's kick off the hour here with the cut. Let's get into today at the podium at Big 12 financial meetings. The Big 12 financial meetings down in Orlando. Lance Leipold, head coach of Kansas football, and Kenny Dillingham, the head coach of Arizona State, sitting down at the podium. And let's kick things off with the cut like we always do and get it started right.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the show. Obviously, when these coaches sit down at the podium, everything wants to be asked about the NIL space, the college football playoff, all those different things. And Lance Leipold and Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State and Kansas, respectively, sitting down with the media today. Here's what it sounded like from Orlando.
Yeah, transfer portal, CFP, just the overall state of college athletics and the direction, that I think the majority of people wanted to go.
There's a lot of discussion about having the multiple portal window and maybe settling on one window instead of two. For the coaches, what were those discussions like? What do you favor in terms of when it comes to the portal window?
As coaches, we unanimously support one portal window, and that is in January, is what we'd like.
Why January?
We just feel again, we know it's a tough thing with calendars right now and where it goes, and a chance to get your team settled. You're signing most of your guys in December. You're going to know what your roster will be like to start the second semester, and you have the opportunity to work and develop and build those relationships, evaluate your team, and get it ready for the next season.
Kenny, in terms of the CFP, obviously they've already announced they're just going to go to this straight seeding, which would have affected you all this season. So I'm wondering, A, how you feel about that change, and then B, your thoughts on the 5+11, which the conference seems to support.
Yeah, I think it was a great change. I mean, even though it would have negatively affected us last year, we lost 2 games going into it, so I think that would have been the right thing to do. I'm about, you should get what you've earned the right that season. And last season, maybe we didn't earn the right to be the 4th seed. Maybe we earned the right to be the 8th seed. I don't even know what we finished. 9th, 12th, whatever that was. I believe you earn your way to those seats. So I'm also in support of the 5-11 for that same thought process. Is every year is a new year. You never know who's going to be good in college football, especially with the volatility with the portal. So anything that creates an open platform for teams like our guys last year to prove that they do belong, I'm in support of.
And Lance, what are your thoughts on the 5-11 proposal?
Yeah, again, to kind of reinforce what Kenny said, we're, as a conference and personally being through it as a Division III coach, again, each and every year should be a unique opportunity of its own. You earn your right onto the field. Again, there will be a lot of debate based on amount of conference games. We need more uniformity across the board in conference games played, things like that. But we continue to work towards those things. But again, the best teams will have that opportunity to be there. We support that, and I think Kenny's team last year was a great sign of that, of where maybe people think you might be, but where you really play yourself to be is something entirely different. And I think in this new world that we're dealing with, you'll see more teams like this that you may not know of, but play so well during the year and earn their way through that and earn that opportunity.
When there are two conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC that are seemingly in charge of what the format's going to look like, what kind of insight did your commissioner give you in terms of his approach and his strategy to get the 5+12 model across? I know it's been presented, I know it's been discussed. Did he give you guys any insight on maybe how that one could potentially get?
No, I think it was more just about, the fact that we just want competitiveness. We want the fact that you play the games every year, and who knows who the best teams are going to be every year, and you never know. So I think that was more of the conversation was, automatic qualifiers versus do we just want to see who the best teams are and put the best teams in every year? And I think, our coaches in our league, our ADs, wanted just the best teams. Whoever those best teams are in college football that year, let's have those best teams go and compete for a championship.
Okay, you just played in a 12-team playoff, and now there's discussion of expanding it to 14 or 16. From a coach's perspective, having done it the first time with 12, do you like this idea that now, after only a couple of years, it's going to expand to 14 or 16? Yeah,
to me, I really don't care. I think at the end of the day, it's football. Football's fun. And sometimes we lose focus, and everybody focuses on the negative of college football and the negative of what all these things create, and they don't focus on the positive. They don't focus on the fact that that experience our guys went through was one of the best experiences they'll ever have in their life. And it's just something they'll remember forever. I think sometimes we focus on the wrong things, not the positive of college athletics, and there's so much positive out there still that hopefully we get to a point where people are focusing on, man, our guys got to be a part of that. If we add teams, it's an opportunity for those guys to be a part of something that they'll remember forever. And I know it's coming. It's coming that we're going to get back to the positive light about this sport, and I'm excited for it.
Speaking of that, when you do have a team that did make it to the playoff, maybe unexpectedly, as Lance said, what is the approach now this offseason with a veteran group that you have coming back that people are going to be expecting more out of? Yeah,
sailboat doesn't sail in yesterday's wind. So, you can be as good as you want last year. Nobody cares. We were picked dead last year, and we won it. So who cares where we're picked this year? We could finish dead last. This league is so competitive. It's filled. I was just sitting in our coaches' meeting rooms, and you look around the room. How many guys in our league have won a national championship? It's unbelievable. At their level, you look at the guy sitting to my right. You look at the guy who sat to my right. It was left and right. And then you look across and it's Rich Rodriguez. Oh, that's a guy who could go into the Hall of Fame. He changed the entire game of how people play offensive football for an era. So our league is so competitive because I think the coaches in the league are phenomenal. I think we have one of the best coached leagues out there. And I think, I'm the young guy of the group, but we have so much veteran leadership in that group that, just going versus them and listening to them talk in those meetings, it's a special thing to be a part of.
Guys, Robert Allen from the Oklahoma State Network. I've got one question for both and one just for Coach Dillingham. How much football did you actually get to do this spring? Do you feel like, to yourselves, I got to do a lot of football in practice today versus handling everything else? And then Coach Dillingham, what you did last year in the portal era is crazy. As many new kids as you had, did you do anything differently in the summer and in fall camp to make that group a team?
You want to go first? Well, I guess I'll answer the first one. I was very pleased with the amount of football that I was able to be involved in and what we're doing. We also brought a fair amount of transfers in at semester after losing 39 seniors. So we had a lot of transition, acclimatization of new players, but I thought it went extremely well. Very appreciative of our staff, our support staff that kind of helped navigate some of the waters in today's football.
Yeah, I would agree. I was obviously pleased with the amount of football. I mean, at the end of the day, you can talk about all the stuff that's happening in college athletics, but the most important thing is the players on your team. And it always will be, regardless of who's on it or who's not or how much they change. Your current players will always be priority A, B, C, and D, in my opinion, not the guys that you're hoping to get. And in terms of what we did last year different, I don't know if we did anything different. I think we got the right guys. We got guys that were hungry, that liked each other. They were friends. And the power of people is powerful, and the power of connection is real. And I think our guys just really grew together. I don't think it was anything I did or our staff did. It's a credit to our players and the work that they put in, which is why they had the success that they had.
Got a question on Zoom from Henry Greenstein. Henry, go ahead.
Yeah, Lance, after having had to let so many of your walk-ons go over the course of the offseason, what was your reaction to then having it looks like a grandfather kind of thing is going to happen with the eventual settlement decision?
Yeah, as we still wait for that settlement to be signed and decided, it's mixed feelings, Henry. Because you feel bad about guys who wanted to stay at the University of Kansas and get their degree and be part of our program, but bittersweet, and really some guys have gotten some really nice opportunities, and at the end of the day, I feel, just like kind of to the past questions, guys still love to play football, and we like being out on the field with them. And when a walk-on maybe decides to, now that the roster spot might have been in jeopardy, he has a chance to go somewhere where he may see more real playing time in games, you got to be happy for him. I guess, we all wish there had been a little more clarity sooner, but just like everything else I think we're dealing with, we just want clarity and really how are we going to operate, and I think we'll all find a way to make it beneficial for all.
Ben Hutchins on Zoom, we've got a question from him. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a two-part question for Scott. I'm wondering what makes the Farmageddon rivalry something you want to bring to Ireland, and is this kind of part of a larger Big 12 push to bring the brand internationally?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I think the Iowa State Kansas State game certainly is a premier game within the league, and those two institutions really wanted to take that international as a league. We are absolutely supportive of that as a strategy. You've heard Brett say that a number of times. Not only are we excited about being in Ireland this year, but we're going in Ireland next year with TCU and North Carolina, and we've got some games in other events international as well. So it's part of a broader strategy for the Big 12, and we're happy to support that.
Last question from Zoom is from Michelle Gardner. Michelle, go ahead.
Hi, coaches. Thanks. Kenny, can you kind of talk about how last year basically everybody wanted to talk to you about what's it like being picked last, and now you're the toast of the town, you're the poster child for underachievers, national attention everywhere, and how much more fun is it to be going through this now?
Oh, it's actually less fun. To be honest, I mean, it's fun being, it's naturally motivating for people to say you suck. And, it's way more difficult to people to say you're good. And I'm not one who actually likes the limelight or people telling me I'm good anyway. So to me, it's more uncomfortable. I'd much rather be an underdog, much rather be somebody people count out. So I'd say this is definitely uncomfortable to always get positive praise. I would prefer it to all be about the players, and then for me to just try to navigate our players and make sure they stay focused on them trying to be the best version of themselves.
All right, so there you go. Interesting stuff. Kenny Dillingham and Lance Leipold at the podium. I think the only thing that sounded like it was an official kind of something, it was like, we are unanimous as a coaching group that we want it to just be one transfer portal window. We want it in January.
I mean, that makes the most sense. It sucks to have two.
Why does it suck so bad to have two? I mean, for our job, it's kind of fun.
I mean, oh, yeah, of course. But, like, if you look at it from a team standpoint, especially football, right? You got 11 guys that got to be on the page, let alone the backups or substitutions. That's more people that got to be on the same page. If you got guys who are coming in, nobody's learning the game, right? They talk about Tom Brady and how the game is being dumbed down, yada, yada, yada. But, like, these guys are transferring in. They got to learn a whole new system. That chemistry, that camaraderie, that is huge for a team, especially with a team who's trying to build stuff, right? Even in the NFL, you have these contracts for a reason, right? And so, like, everything's a one-and-done type deal in college football now. So if you got a transfer portal at the end of December and in January, and then you have another transfer portal after spring ball, you got to break people in, and there's NCAA regulations where you can't practice, you can't do this and that. You got to break people in June, July, and literally the only time you have in pads is August, the 3-4 weeks before the season starts. That sucks. You don't even know people's strengths. You don't know, do they fit in your scheme that much? The tryouts aren't even like that. You can't even have tryouts in this transfer portal. You're guessing on everything. So, yeah, it sucks. It sucks for all these guys so they can't even make adjustments.
The thing about it, too, is I think you have a lot of folks who see what these coaches do and they just go, oh, figure it out. You guys are millionaires. Your players are millionaires now. Just figure it out. You got the transfer portal. It's kind of makes it more interesting in the case.
But you can't cut these kids. You suck. Like, there's kids that were making $200,000 and literally getting no reps. Dress every game, making $200,000, not doing nothing. Why can't you cut him?
Yeah, I think that these grandfathered in roster spots too it's also going to be very fascinating to see. And you hear every one of these coaches when they're asked about it, where they say, "Well, we'll see what the number ends up being once they end up actually signing that settlement," because they're just hoping that there's going to be a change on the number, right? That they go, "Hey, we're going to actually make it 117." Be like, even just like adding a little bit to make it help, because that's what happened last year. The waiver they had an extended waiver. I don't know why that 105 is the number that they came up with.
Yeah, what is that number?
I don't know, but I think, obviously you have to have an even split on men's and women's athletic scholarships across the board. And I think you have to just make sure that you have all those covered, but why not add extra roster spots to those teams too? I mean, why not? I just look at it and I go, these guys are going to have some tough decisions to make. I mean, Leipold said it. You got these kids who wanted to play, and we can't let them. Anyway, all right, we got stuff to get to the break here. We'll come back. I think we got some traffic up around the corner. You don't want to miss any of that. And on top of it, we've got an NFL Blitz around the corner. I've got a list for you. I've got a ranking list for you. Uh-oh. Sly, you better stand by for it. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Sly sitting in for JJ.
Hey-o.
NFL Blitz music, of course, gets me fired up every time
single day.
We do it. Hey, if you want to get your product featured on our program, if you want to get that nice endorsement by JJ and myself that will boost your business, let's get it going. Text JJ to 57500, and we will get you on the schedule, and you will be the next business that's going to take off being endorsed by this very program. Success across the board, by the way. We will grow your business. All right, let's get it going. Just text JJ to 57500, and our sales staff will take care of it. And they'll just say, hey, I want to get on JJ and Alex. Let's get this thing going. JJ to 57500. Here's one. I love lists. You know I love lists. And this is the 12 teams that have not won a Super Bowl. The very first, the ranking of the teams who could win their first Super Bowl in 2025. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
I love these, all right? And you tell me if they actually have a shot. Now, these are ranked by, if you partake, by betting odds, okay? So don't take our advice for it. Don't take Vegas's advice for it. Don't gamble, kids. Especially don't gamble on number 12, the Cleveland Browns. Are you just morally supposed to be like, hey, any old AFC North team, I have to automatically say you have no shot?
Yeah, they beat up on each other so much, it's like crazy. But like even the Browns, they come out and have like good years and crappy all season. But when they face the Bengals or the Ravens, they put a good foot forward and mess things up. So
what was your record against the Browns? You think?
Oh, what do you mean think? I don't.
Did you lose more than?
I don't think I've ever lost to the Browns.
Okay.
From 10 to 14, I don't think we ever
lost
to the Browns.
So that's 5 seasons times 2. That's 10. You think you're 10-0 against the Browns?
Oh, they were bad. You know, all 10 of those were different quarterbacks.
All right.
They were bad.
All right.
I remember my first time playing them at home in Pittsburgh. We were just having fun. It was like backyard football in that game, and it was miserable for them. But that's when James Harrison was taking off like Josh Cribbs had.
That's why they had. There was a reason they kept missing quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it's mostly
the 2010
your defense.
Steelers defense was
all right.
nasty.
Well, let me. I do want to say something though. Critics are saying, and observers are saying that Shedeur Sanders is having a heck of an OTA.
Yeah,
I don't know if that means much.
He looks good in the highlights that we see on ESPN.
Yeah, he's definitely wearing orange, so good for him.
I mean, TJ Watt, I have something to say about that.
Carolina Panthers, number 11 on the list. Now, these are just, we got to move through a lot of these teams quickly because I don't think any of them have a shot. So I don't think a lot of them have a shot.
No.
The Carolina Panthers, no, but I will say Bryce Young definitely started to turn a corner last year. I'm hoping that there's a version of him that's doing that. The Tennessee Titans, of course, have the number 1 overall pick with Cam Ward going to their place. He will be starting likely for this team next year, which is wild. So no shot to win the Super Bowl, by the way. Jaden Daniels.
They're in a good division now.
I know.
AFC South is turning out nice.
I'm trying to think here. You think the Jags have got it?
I mean, they're up there.
You think the Colts have got it?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of missing pieces, and I think that they fulfilled that with the head coach and offensive coordinator and stuff that's going to work with Sunshine over there.
The Atlanta Falcons are at 9th best odds.
Ooh. I like
now,
that.
the odds jump up quite a bit. Like, they have 2.5 times better odds.
I'm going to say no
than,
because they're young.
Yeah, still too young. I don't know what we're going to get with Michael Penix Jr. as a starter, like a full-time starter, right? Rather than just being put in.
Right.
I do like Bijan Robinson. I think Drake London's really, really good. And we'll see. I don't know. Jacksonville Jaguars, no thank you.
Nope.
The Arizona Cardinals?
Nope.
No, thank you.
Mighty Mouse back there.
Hey, but they have Marvin Harrison Jr.
Hey,
that he gets to throw
looks
to.
beastly. Did you see him?
He does. He looks exactly like his dad, too, right? He's just
And
like...
subtly, but
now Marvin... No, from a body perspective, you're right, though.
Right.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is like DK Metcalf level of, like, cut right now.
But you definitely can tell that he's his son.
Yes. So, interesting, though, because... Can Kyler Murray get him the football? We don't know.
But that's the thing. Like him bulking up to Megatron status, just throw it in the area.
Yeah, just get it there. That's your guy. Number 6. It's a team who overperformed last year. I think we're going to see a very, very different outcome this year with J.J. McCarthy under center.
I'm not a believer
getting a
in
shot.
JJ.
The Minnesota Vikings. They've had 4 Super Bowl appearances. They've never won the thing. Now, almost all of those were, I think they were all the Purple People Eater type time frame, right? I mean, this is, we're talking about like Gus Frerotte running the deal
That
there.
was before Gus.
So let me see here. Oh, the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh boy.
I don't know. You're in the same division as Patrick Mahomes, and
Yeah, but you have Herbert, who might be. He could, but besides Patrick Mahomes, I think he's the best quarterback in that conference. You don't think he's the better quarterback out of the other 3?
Geno, Bo Nix, and Patrick?
1,000%. No, Patrick Mahomes, I think, is still number 1. Number 2, I think, and clipping at his heels is Justin Herbert.
Here's my thing. It's scheme. I think, and I've told JJ this, I think Sean Payton and Bo Nix together is great. Now they got a fuller offseason together. They're going to be dangerous.
The Houston Texans at number 4, best odds.
Yes, I like them.
I like the Texans. I think that DeMeco Ryans, they had all these injuries last year. Stroud, I don't think really took a step backward necessarily.
Right.
Injuries, right? Partway through the year as well, kind of didn't really help.
Played a huge factor.
But the reality is that I think you've got a better team. They had injuries to their wideouts that were just really ridiculous.
Daddy over there?
Who do what now?
Daddy over there got injured. Stephon Diggs.
He did. Who else did?
All the way through.
Oh, you're talking about pink cocaine guy?
Yeah, pink cocaine.
You thought we were gonna get through that? Our producer Alex is like, "We're gonna get through the show, you guys. We're not gonna say pink cocaine today." I didn't make up the term, brother.
Oh gosh, he's a really nice guy.
By the way, pink cocaine, not pink cocaine, as some people may have thought. It was a mix of methamphetamines, ecstasy. What was the other one? Ketamine. That was the other one. Yeah. I just wanted to sound like one of those newscasters.
Dateline.
A deadly mix of ketamine, methamphetamine, and any other amine. Cincinnati Bengals at 3.
I don't got him, no.
I think just Joe Burrow he just shoots him up the list, right?
He's great, but
they also have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Not a bad
number 1 offense last year, and
here's what you have too. You also have your best defensive player, your best edge rusher, who says he's not even going to play games if he's not going to get a new deal. That's a broken locker room right now.
Oh, for sure.
With one of their leaders saying, "I'm not even going to play until I get a good deal."
I say no.
That might be a problem.
Yeah.
Now, number 2 and number 1, these are guys who I think we're already putting in that conversation. The Detroit Lions don't just have second best odds on this list; they have the 4th best odds of anybody out there.
And this is just this next season.
This is just next season.
Okay.
The Detroit Lions at number 2. They came up short last year, obviously. They were the ones who lost to the Commanders, right? Yeah. Okay. And it was there in Detroit. So, geez. The Detroit Lions, can they get it done? Can they get their first Super Bowl?
I say no.
Ooh.
You got rid of all your assets now. With your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator now gone.
You're talking about all your coaches.
That was a prime year for them, and they dropped the bag.
And then number 1, best odds and second best odds overall in the NFL are the Buffalo Bills.
I like that.
Don't hate the pick. This will be, of course, they had that run of 4 losses in a row of Super Bowls between 1991, 92, 93, 94. But the Bills, of course, have Josh Allen. Sean McDermott is really turning a corner. I congratulate them because we thought their window had closed, and they've gotten better. I read a whole thing the other day about how Dalton Kincaid has to step up year 3 and be who he was year 1. Now, he didn't have an awful year last year.
Some injuries there.
But they want him to take off even more, and they're going to ask a lot more out of him, and I think that he's going to answer that call.
As they should, yeah. He's that type of guy to answer. For sure.
All right, we'll take the break here. I like that. Bills Lions would be a phenomenal Super Bowl in itself, by the way.
That would be.
I would love to see that. 2 teams that going in, somebody's going to go away with their first Super Bowl ever. That'd be phenomenal. So, and if that were the case, I would love to see Dan Campbell cry at the podium with his first Lombardi trophy.
What about Bills Lions for Thanksgiving? That's what the matchup should be. That'd be nice.
Well, the Lions always play on Thanksgiving.
Right.
The Bills, they're just not part of that. They're not part of that cool club. You know what I mean? Cowboys.
You can't sit with us.
Cowboys, Packers. Commanders, Lions, Packers. Yeah. It's like, sorry, you guys don't. No. I know you guys think you're cool, but you're not going to come eat at the cool table with the turducken, all right?
The turducken.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We got more to go around the corner. We have our best and worst next. Don't want to miss it. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Final segment of this hour. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Sly, best and worst. I was really disappointed we didn't get to do the worst of this one yesterday, but we just had so much dang stuff coming down the pike, So now we get to attack it.
Let's do it.
I mean, I'm not the guy who loves to jump on, programs that are
Sure
down.
You're not.
I'll try to get through this one without being too rough on this one. But by the way, the best and worst, as always, brought to you by the good folks at Doug Smith Dealerships. An incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and now the Mitsubishi brand of cars in the Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and now in Linden. Go check it out for yourself. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Let me see here. I'll go with the worst first because it was just hilarious. So Georgia Tech, don't do that, Chuckle. First of all right? I don't need your judgment. Neither does Georgia Tech. You know why?
They're getting judged by everybody.
This is
not just me.
This is an academic beacon in the ACC.
Beacon.
So Georgia Tech, last year at Bobby Dodd Stadium, you already know where they play. I don't need to remind you. They go 5-0 last year at home.
Oh yeah, that one loss was neutral site. That's right.
Now, away from home, they were 1-6. That's beside the point. Now, I'm just telling you. No, sorry. I guess they were 2-6 away from home. All right, they did win 2 games away from home. I don't want to take that away from them. They were 2-6 away from Bobby Dodd Stadium, but they went 5-0 at home. If you recall, they did have an awesome, quintuple overtime or septuple overtime game against an octuple overtime game with Georgia that they lost. But hey, it was still a good game. They were given rings to celebrate the year. In fact, they tweeted out summer ice with the cold face emoji. Okay?
Powerful statement.
And then they show the diamond-encrusted Georgia Tech rings celebrating their 7-6 season last year when they went 5-0 at home.
7-6 is nowhere on the ring, though.
It's not, but they do also mention that they got they also mentioning their Birmingham Bowl berth, which is a big deal. Now, as I was pointed out to in the comment section, because that's immediately where I go to places when I want to make sure that other people agree with how terrible the situation is and how awful these people are. They have these diamond-crusted rings that say, defend the flats. And they say 5-0. They have all the 5-0 scores on the inside of the ring. The Georgia Tech crest on there. And then somebody points out, I was all for this because, I'm not going to kick a team while they're down. And, winning a bowl game is a big deal. Brother, they didn't win their bowl game. That was my favorite thing from all day yesterday. So they go to the bowl game. They go to the Birmingham Bowl and they lose, and they still make 7-6 rings. Participation trophies at their finest.
5-0 ring, not a 7-6
Sorry.
ring.
Participation trophies at their finest.
I think it's disgusting.
Sly, here we are.
I think it's disgusting. I mean, you're maybe trying to send a message.
Sly literally is disgusted. He's been nauseous all day. It's terrible.
But you're probably trying to send the message that you must protect this home and yada yada yada. You're probably writing home about your 8 overtime game against Georgia and
that we lost.
If that's what it is, whose opinion I really want on this? I want Megatron's opinion on this.
Oh, you know what? Yes, Georgia Tech's probably best player ever, right?
I want to get those veteran guys in a room and what do you think about what the administration wants to do in giving these loser rings out?
A loser ring?
If Mike Tomlin calls the AFC Championship ring loser ring, we can definitely call a 7-6 team getting rings loser rings.
So there's not a lot of times in Georgia Tech history when you're going to be able to make a ring at all. I guess if this is going to be it. You know what this is? This is the Lakers bubble championship, right?
Bubble?
No, mid-season. Sorry. It's the in-season championship. Okay? Now,
but they actually won something.
Yeah, it's true. They did not win the bowl game. You're right. But you know what? Cool rings. That's how you get the kids to come to Georgia Tech. Hey, guys, you get rings even if you lose. Come on in. Come on down. Let's get that Georgia Tech education.
Hey,
you know who would have been disgusted by this, by the way? May he rest? Mike Leach.
Ooh.
Mike Leach is the best story of the day. At least he's adjacent to it because the National Football Foundation, who, of course, operates the College Football Hall of Fame, has now said that starting in 2027, they are going to adjust their benchmark for coaches to be able to get to the College Football Hall of Fame. Now, I didn't know this. A guy like Mike Leach, to me, I felt like it would have already been somebody who would be considered. Now, here's the thing, is his career win percentage. There's a certain number of games you have to play. There's a certain number of games you have to win because you have to have a certain win percentage to be able to get in. Prior to this week, when they had the vote, the National Football Foundation had a 60% hurdle, a 60% win percentage hurdle for coaches to be able to get into the College Football Hall of Fame. They have adjusted that, and they said that in 2027, starting in 2027, eligibility will start at at 59.5%, which will make former Texas Tech, former Washington State, former Mississippi State, former BYU grad Mike Leach eligible for the College Football Hall of Fame as a coach. He, Les Miles, also on that list of guys who'd be able to be eligible as well. Jackie Sherrill. Basically, they came up with a bunch of guys who were like pretty dang close.
All right.
Rich Rod, by the way, you know what?
His last few years,
he's at 596. He's right there. If he has a bad year, his first year at West Virginia, he wouldn't be considered. If he has a bad year, if they go like 3-9, he'd be under the threshold. He'd be at 58%. So, and I'm a little bit for that, just to see how that goes. Just to see how that goes. All right, but I was glad anything that Mike Leach gets an honor for, I'm all for it. So there you go. There's your best and worst for the day. We'll come back. We'll take a break. We will return. More to go right around the corner. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.